think we're on. Are we live? Now can you guys see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Well, we're about 9 minutes late because there were some technical difficulties, but that happens. So let's move this. We're here. What's up, guys? Can you see me? Can you hear me? All is good. All right. Great. Great. Loud and clear. Great to hear. Welcome back. Glad you guys are here. We are, this must be the 5th or 6th live episode. We've done quite a few now. It's fun. We like to have good time and chat with you guys. I see some of you guys from before. Go Rockets. That's right, Teresa. Teresa Lynch, Chaos Reality, repping the 303. Corey Sawyers, Brian Stevely, Mark Rogers. I see all of you guys. Carla Red Pill. I'm here despite some technical difficulties. Johan, what's up? So, welcome to the live stream. I'm actually home now. Past couple have been at different places, but I'm back and I'm here. And I hope to have more. Let's give you a couple updates first. We'll go ahead and get started since we were 10 minutes late. I'm going to continue to try to post once or twice a week. I always try to get a video of some type, a Mandela video or a different topic. And I try to get a podcast up. Kira and I did not do a podcast this week. We're going to record on next Saturday. I've been working a lot, and so has she, so we just haven't had a chance to shoot one. But we should have a podcast up in about a week, and I'm going to try to get another video up this week sometime. I've been working on a movie, so I haven't had as much time. I'm growing a bit of a beard, which has been fun. But yes, we are going to do a podcast, I think, on Saturday. We're going to record one, and then we are I'm going to try to get a Mandela video up later this week. So I will continue to post one video and one podcast a week, at least one video and one podcast a week. And then I do the live casts, once a month for 30 or 45 minutes. It's always fun to chat with you guys. Hey, Brian, IKS, Residue Hunter here. Hi, just reading through. It's a great group. It's a closed group. You look cute. That's funny. Let's see. If you guys are following me on my Instagram is Geoffrey Pilkington, just like the YouTube. So some other updates here. It's Geoffrey Pilkington. My Twitter is just Jeff Pilkington. It's not plural. It's just Jeff Pilkington. And then I have a public Facebook, but I don't use that as much. So the best ones are Twitter and Instagram. You can check me out on both of those. Let's see what else is happening. Yes, so podcast video is going to continue to put those up. So I noticed let's get into it. I noticed some Mandela Effect people are starting to, come back. People are putting up more Mandela Effects. And you subbed and bell, Geoffrey. Thank you guys. Thank you for subscribing, by the way. And thank you for doing the bell. If you do the bell, that's great. I really appreciate all that. So, but I noticed some more people people are starting to find them again. We still aren't seeing like the general Mandela effects. Like we aren't seeing more like big ones that everybody knows. I try to find ones that are more common that they affect more people, because some of them are kind of off the beaten path as far as how much they affect. But, we are seeing more and more people talk about it, or bring ones back, or, finding more and more new ones. Have you guys found any that you've seen lately that anybody's posted about that you find interesting? Because I've seen some. I haven't really seen any huge ones, but I am seeing, some of them. If you have a huge one, yes, Teresa, feel free to share. I am curious. But, so It's interesting. Some people are finding some more. I mean, I've got some more that I'm going to post, interesting ones. I know I posted about Stephen Hawking. The Quaker Oats one's really big and interesting. I saw one that I said one around Burgundy. I saw one that people remember Buddha being fat and Buddha's now skinny. Have you checked out Buddha? Because people remember Buddha being really fat and now Buddha's skinny, which I thought that one was interesting. What else have I seen? Something about how the Bible says Jesus, people remember him being a carpenter and now he's a stone mason. You remember that? Mention of a carpenter and Jesus now a stone mason. That's another one that I just kind of saw randomly to share a couple interesting ones. I'll make a video about some of these. I was watching the Rams all afternoon. That was fun. We won. LA Rams, my blanket representing, which you guys like back here. So that was exciting. So yeah, some more and more people are starting to talk to find them. I've seen like money bags and various other people posting them. Let's see, a new one for me today. Eve Plum, Jan Brady did not get herself back in the 90s in my timeline. She overdosed. She also had twin sister. That's interesting, huh? I don't know a lot about Eve Plum, Jan Brady, but that is interesting. My Beyonce mentioned remembering the snorks being the snorkels. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's interesting, though. It was used to be called Salmon Brothers. Now it's called Salmon. Yeah, that's interesting. I've heard about that one, Brian. That is interesting. Let me go up here a little bit, see what else you guys have. You found one 2 days ago. Tower 7 from 911. Yeah, last night. If you have a huge one, feel free to share it. Yeah, you're right, Corey. If anybody has a big one, feel free to share it. If the gloves don't fit, you must acquit. It used to be called Sun. Yeah, it was on Friends. That happened. That's an OJ one, right? If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. I remember that one. Yeah, snorkels. Not sure. That's interesting. But a lot of people wonder still, like what causes it? Like, what is the meaning behind it? Like, where does it come from? Like, what is the exact cause? Like, where does it come from? One thing that I've mentioned, which people, get kind of upset about, is when I say that it's false memories. I think that's one thing it possibly could be, but I think, there's obviously an array of things that it could be. One thought I do have is that, when there's this theory that's more and more talked about history and how the present is actually determining the past, and how time is all happening in the present, like time is happening right now. And so if history really doesn't exist, if it's just, we just think of it that way. Like we only think of the past because that's how we've been wired to think about time. If you think about it, like the past is only there because that's how we're like wired in, is to think the past exists. But everything could be happening differently than how we think about it. So technically, the past could just be could be being rewritten in the present, and Mandela Effect could play into things that haven't hardened in the present. Like if you know that you have a table that is brown. If you know that the table is brown and you see it in the present as brown, that's hardened. So that memory is the same. But if something's more fluid and it's not in the present, like one of these things, and it didn't harden, that would let what we call history be more out in the open, be more fluid. And so I think it could pertain to our memories and how history, I think there's a big time element, which I mentioned before. I think there's a big time element to it, which could definitely connect in. Let's see, what do we have? So that's like one theory I was thinking about that I wanted to share. And then it was on Friends that happened. A new one for me. Okay, we talked about that. Let's see. We had one of our own. My girlfriend appointments changed times on us. The card, if we didn't, we would have gotten it back. A big wreck. Huh, interesting. Now you're more on track. Okay, let's see here. I think someone came in time, so it's like the butterfly effect. Yeah, the butterfly effect. What is the butterfly effect? It's like, again, it's what my understanding of the butterfly effect is it's how like a little thing little changes in the universe can have huge effects. And I think that is true. I think that the butterfly effect is very interesting because I think that is true. We have too much residue to debunk that. Well, I think that you're thinking of not remembering. When people say not remembering, Moneybags gets really mad about this. I think you need to think about that more in terms of time rather than us being dumb. You know? I don't think that memory, when it's a memory thing, it's not necessarily about us being dumb. It could have to do with the time. Like our memory isn't what we think it is, and that we think there's a past, but the past is happening right now, so it's fluid. So it's easy to like dismiss these things with memory because it makes us think that we're dumb when there could be other things going on. O.J. Simpson Mandela glove now fits. Oh, really? I didn't know about that one, Andrew. That's interesting, huh? How very fourth dimensional of me. Fourth dimensional. Thanks, Pixie. Yes, I live actually in the fourth dimension. Yeah, I'm one of those fourth dimension people. There are people that I think operate more in 4D thinking, though. Love watching this dude's awakening. Are you referring to my awakening, Brian? Let's see. What is the Friends Mandela? Most of our past is lies anyway. Changes are more than that supernatural. It's possible, Carla. It definitely could be supernatural. And Alice in Wonderland, the Cheshire Cat, does not say we are all mad here. He says most everyone is mad here. That's a big one, Hannah. I hadn't heard that one. That's cool. Yeah, butterfly effect. I'm not sure. It was Berenstein Bears. You're 100% sure of that. What's interesting about that is I remember as a kid there was a spider web on each page. Huh. I don't know, Corey. I do remember it being Berenstein Bears, though. Carla, I was just going to say that, Brian. Let's see. I wouldn't leave residue. I have incremental changes, Geoffrey, that we watch happen in front of us as we are watching, and for effects, for instance, Star Wars. Yeah, that's interesting. Spider webs in the illustrations, huh? Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, Brian. I'm glad you... How do you define awakening? What do you think it means, you guys, when somebody's awakening? What does that mean? Cool, Corey. I had never heard that. I think it's mostly CERN-related. I don't know. It's possible it's CERN-related, Reppin. I mean, spider webs were on little critter books. I remember the spider web. You believe CERN wants us to think that they are powerful, Reppin. It's possible. E.T. home phone. Yeah, I've heard the E.T. one. Anybody think that we might be on the cusp of discovering that we create our reality? The discovery of this may be hinting that we, as consciousness, have more power than we currently accept. Well, Pixie, now you're getting interesting. Now you're getting really interesting. That we create our own reality. Huh. Yeah, that's certainly very, very interesting. You know, a lot of people believe that everything that's happening around us in this thing we call life, you're actually creating everything you see. So, have you heard this, like about the you know, there's like the NPC theory about that, about simulation, and how there's like player characters, like in a video game, and then there's non-player characters, and that some people could be player characters, meaning like you're playing in a video game, and some people not. Like some people aren't real and some are. I don't know about that. It's possible. But like, here's the thing. Okay, so if we're in a simulation of some type, like the future, like the likelihood that we're in a simulation is so likely because in the future it's so possible that we, meaning future versions of ourselves, wanted to create, like, this is like a just hypothesis, thought experiment. What if future versions of ourselves created a simulation because they wanted to see something? They wanted to test something out. They wanted to try something. And what if you or me or whomever is just a part of the future you? And that's the big secret. When people pass away, they get reconnected with themselves. So your full self is watching you, is a part of you in the future. And we're just all reconnecting with our future selves. And that's like one kind of simulation idea, because with the double slit experiment and with matter, there's still so many mysteries. Like but everything fits right into us being some type of a simulation. And it's been proven like billions to one that we're not. So Elon Musk and everybody says we're pretty much in a simulation. So for Mandela Effect to be tied into it, seems quite likely. It's a possibility. Let's go back to some questions again. Myself, that we change our reality. Yeah, that we change our reality subconsciously. Yeah. Yeah, be sure to like this video, you guys. If you haven't liked it, please like it. If you haven't liked it, definitely like it. I really appreciate it. That helps. Let's see. What ET says home phone what? Yeah, I think ET says it right once, and then he changes. So it is right at one point, and then he changes it to phone home, home phone. I think that swaps around. In the famous song California Dream by the Mamas and the Papas, I've always known the lyric to be, I got down on my knees and I began to pray. That has changed to, really? Pretend to pray. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting, Hannah. Huh. All right, Brian. Yeah, I'll check out your video. Put it in the comments here, or after the video, put it in the video comments, and I'll check it out. Jackie Kennedy, Blue JFK Hannah. I don't know anything about that. Tower of Babel. I always heard baseball. Now it's Bayball. No, I haven't heard that. Yeah, thanks, Brian. So I think what I was saying is, I think the simulation theory. I think there's a good chance it plays into it somehow. We just haven't figured it out yet. But I do think there's truth to the mass consciousness, to us all being connected to one another. And I do think that I think there's definite truth to that. And I think that it's likely we live in a simulation. And I think that I think religion is great. And I'm Presbyterian, actually. So I was raised Christian. But with AI coming around, and just with artificial intelligence and computers, when all that was formed back in the day, BC, all that stuff, right after AD, 500 AD, they didn't have AI, they didn't have computers. People don't realize things that happened in the past. It's as if people act like things were the same back then as they are now, and they don't take that into regards when they think about things. So it's like we can keep changing and remodeling our world based on progress and based on what we're learning and what we're seeing, and it freaks people out to do that. I think that's why a lot of people don't like the Mandela Effect. They're like, oh no, it's scary, because it's like fear. It's ultimately fear. That's what it comes down to. I mean, people are just fearful. And so, let's see, Justin, right? That's why we have the same, that someone is babbling. If you can't understand them, it's not babbling. I'm not sure what that one is. What if God is the fully conscious, self-programmed universe? Right. Pixie, you had some really interesting thoughts to both in the comments and to, like, I see you commenting, and in this. You have some really interesting thoughts on these things. That's for sure. Um, but yes, I think that a lot of it comes down to fear. People are just scared to be open to things. They're scared to progress. People get locked in their zones and they don't want to change and they don't want to remain open. And that's one reason people like shy away from things like the Mandela effect. It's ultimately fear and they're scared about it. I mean, they don't know what it means, what it's all about. I can't remember if you talked about this in one of your videos, but when JFK was shot, there were 6 people in the car, not 4 like I always thought. Yes, I have. That's a good one. Thank you, Hannah, though. That is a good one. Early in the Mandela effect, you can get pretty wrapped up. It can be super confusing and frightening. Don't let it consume you. Stay with positive groups. I agree, Carla. I agree. Had Mandela effect my whole life, so it is less scary for me. Interesting, Pixie. So I think that we need to think about it in terms of time. I think that time is really important. I think that's overlooked, and that people just need to be more. People just need to be more open, just in society in general. I mean, it's just people, everything, the chaos in the world, and by the way, if you want to really like on Twitter especially, I'm always commenting and talking on Twitter. So, and we get into some interesting topics. So if you're on Twitter, you can definitely follow me at Jeff Pilkington, because that's if you want to communicate with me a lot. I'm always on there all the time too. The YouTube comments are great. You know, I try to respond. I have the last couple of videos I need to respond to a bunch. I'm going to do that soon. I'm on this movie, but I'm going to try to do it this week. But Twitter's a great way to communicate with me. Thanks for checking in, Pixie. Thank you. We're going to wrap in about, keep this short, about 5 minutes, guys, because I have some things I got to do. So we're going to keep it at about 25, 30 minutes today. A little bit shorter. Time is more fluid here. It's not constant. It speeds up and it slows down. Well, time, I've heard as you get older that time, it often feels like time gets faster. I find that very interesting in how it ties in. So the last 5 minutes here, if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. Let me see if there's any that I've come across, any Mandelas that I can also share with you guys. I wish I had more time than 30 minutes to talk to you, but I'm just always staying crazy busy. Grand Central Station, Grand Central Terminal. That's one people have talked about. Dr. Spock, Mr. Spock. That's a new interesting one. Do you remember him as Dr. Spock or Mr. Spock? Because people remember him being like Dr. Spock, but he's apparently Mr. Spock. Dr. Spock, Mr. Spock. Let's see, what else do we got here? Spock was both. Okay, that's interesting. Intrinsic, extrinsic time. Interesting, Pixie. We'll check that out. Jeff, right now, which one is currently your number one and why? Spock was both. It's 2 Spocks. I like Twitter and YouTube. I use both of them pretty equally. I mean, YouTube, I only post, a couple times a week. Twitter, I'm commenting every day, but I'm still active on both. Dr. Spock was a child psychologist. Maybe that's why the confusion over that then. Maybe that is what happened with the Dr. Spock, Mr. Spock. Another one, this is like a sneak preview. I'm going to talk about some of these, but Vikings horns. People remember there being Vikings horns on Vikings helmets, and the original Vikings never had horns on their helmets. Remember Vikings horns? I find that interesting. My top Mandela effects. Gosh, okay, what ones affect me? I'm going to my file here and look. I'll give you a few. Okay, so last couple minutes, a few of my top ones that really affect me. 52 states really affects me. 52 states really affects me. Let's see. Tony the Tiger's blue nose really affects me. I never remember Tony the Tiger having a blue nose. Fruit of the Loom, cornucopia. The cornucopia being missing is really affects me. Yeah, Carla, the 52 states gets me. Like, God, I remember that so well. Like, so well. I mean, okay, so the Mr. Spock, Dr. Spock. Thanks, Maxi, HMS. That makes sense. Boeing 737 engines are closer to the fuselage. I remember them being much further. Yeah, I've heard that one, Johan. Maybe I'll talk about that one. I haven't talked about that one. Thanks for that one. I have heard about that. What are some other big ones? The last couple big ones. The Tinkerbell and the Disney logo is weird to me. The flying in. Definitely remember that happening a lot more than it does. Let's see. Monopoly Man's monocle. Some of these are old ones. Is a big one for me. Smokey Bear, Smokey the Bear. That's a huge one for me. And I Love Lucy. Ricky never said, Lucy, you got some explaining to do. That to me, yeah, that's a big one, Hannah. I've heard about that one. That is definitely a big one. The Hindenburg one, Robin, yeah, that's a big one too. Where do you see? Yeah, the Hindenburg one's the one I've talked about. That was big. Oh, C3PO and the silver leg. That's definitely a big one. For me, the Fruit Loops, the spelling is so weird. Looney Tunes. I mean, there's just Luke, I am your father. No, I am your father. He said, like, Luke, I am your father. No is like, it's just bizarre. So those are some bigger ones for me. Yeah, Razzle Dazzle. What would we be without Razzle Dazzle? And the hats. You guys like the hats? We're always changing hats. That's what we do around here. Changing hats. The Hitler Blue Eyes. I have heard of Hitler Blue Eyes. That's a weird one. Razzle Dazzle. The one that gets me is the Picard Crystal in Star Trek Next Generation 1. Watch multiple times and never saw Crystal tilt. Showed it to. I've heard about that one, Maxie. I'm not familiar with it, but I have heard about that one. Yeah, C3PO one's crazy. All right, guys. Black Tom's a big one. So we did 25, 30 minutes today. Kept it a little shorter. Usually I like to go 35, even 40 minutes, but 25, 30 today was good. We had some technical difficulties. Star Trek Beam Me Up, Scotty. Yeah, that's a big one. We'll be back on in a few weeks once I get through this movie and stuff. I'll do a bigger, longer one. Maybe we'll go 45 minutes instead of 25. Keep them longer. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Tracy, for tuning in. Please like this video, comment, subscribe if you haven't. Do the bell. Yeah, definitely subscribe and do the bell. I know who all you guys are now, so it's been great getting to know you. Yeah, the Panama Canal. And you do like these live shows it streams. You like when I do these? You think I should do them more? This is interesting and helpful to you? Do you guys like them? Look at your comments and see if you're like Panama Canal. Nice to meet you, Carla. Look forward. Let's see. Panama Canal is big. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Carla. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking it. Thank you for subscribing, you guys. Bell, do the bell. Definitely do the bell. If you haven't done it, please do, you guys. Sketchers is definitely a big one. Bye, Mark. Bye, Carla. Bell and sub, thank you. Bye, Tracy. Bye, Thoros. Bye, Brian. You do like the shows. Okay, great. Glad you like them. I'm a GEOFF, Johan. GEO, but thank you. Great video, mate. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Camlin. Mark Rogers, Thoros, Tracy, thanks for signing in. Yeah, maybe I'll collab. Tell Moneybags we'll collab sometime. He can have me on his show maybe, if he does one. Drive safely, carpool together. Awesome live. Thanks, Chaos. We only went 25, 30 minutes, but we tried. Bragg, yeah, Bragg's a big one. Bragg instead of Rags. Thanks, Laura. Thank you, guys. Have a great night, and we will do another one soon. Have a good one. Later.